All right, let's just jump right into it. Picture this. You're 7 years old, and making a best friend takes what, maybe 90 seconds? You play a quick game of tag on the playground, share some of your snack, and boom, best friends for life. Now fast forward to today. You're an adult, maybe 35, and you're standing completely alone at some crowded work happy hour, just awkwardly scrolling through your phone. And it hits you. You haven't made a new, truly close friend in years. Well, if that sounds familiar, I want you to know right off the bat that this is absolutely not a personal failing. You are not the problem here. In this explainer, we're going to dig into the hard data behind the adult loneliness epidemic. We're going to see why making friends as an adult is actually a structural math problem, not some lack of social skills on your part. We'll break down the exact equation for human connection, and mostly importantly, how you can actually solve it. First, take a look at this stark contrast because the data completely shatters the illusion that our isolation is just some passing modern mood. Back in 1990, just 1 in 100 American adults reported having 0 close friends. Today, that number has skyrocketed to 1 in 5. Yep, 20% of adults are completely isolated. To put that into perspective, that's 1 out of every 5 people you pass at the grocery store. We didn't suddenly lose our social skills as a species since the 90s, right? We didn't all universally become less likable. Instead, the entire system just shifted under our feet. The structural framework that used to hold our social lives together slowly evaporated, leaving a massive chunk of us completely disconnected. And it's a huge deal. In 2023, the U.S. Surgeon General did something unprecedented, declaring loneliness a national epidemic. The research shows that experiencing this level of chronic isolation carries the exact same severe health impact as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. Let that sink in. 15 cigarettes. We are not just talking about feeling a little bummed out on a Friday night anymore. We're looking at a physiological threat, a genuine public health crisis that absolutely demands our attention and a highly practical fix. So moving into section 1, the old formula and why childhood friendship worked so well. To figure out how to fix this whole crisis, we first have to understand how we ever made friends in the first place. Like, what exactly changed between being that carefree kid on the playground and the stressed-out adult sitting alone on the couch? Sociologist Rebecca G. Adams hit the nail on the head here. She found that for a close friendship to form, you fundamentally need 3 conditions. First up, proximity. You physically have to be near the person. Second, repeated unplanned contact, meaning you bump into them over and over without having to schedule a thing. And third, a relaxed setting where people can actually let their guard down. Think about it. School basically handed you these 3 critical conditions on a silver platter for absolutely free. You were put in the same room with the exact same kids every single day for years. You didn't really have to choose your friends. You were essentially assigned them through sheer geography and repetition. Which brings us to section 2, the math problem, and why adulthood suddenly isolates us. See, the second you graduate, that automatic, built-in system completely vanishes. You're thrust into a world where proximity, unplanned contact, and relaxed settings are incredibly rare. And this is where it becomes a literal numbers game. Communication researcher Jeffrey Hall measured exactly what it takes to build a bond from scratch as an adult. Check this out. To go from strangers to just a casual friend, you need to manufacture about 50 hours together. To become a real friend, you have to hit 90 hours. And to forge a close friend, that takes upwards of 200 hours. When you were a kid, you hit those 200 hours in a single semester just by sitting next to someone in math class. But as an adult, you have to manually manufacture all that time. Honestly, if you only see someone for a 2-hour coffee once a month, it's going to take you over 2 years just to become a casual friend. Crazy, right? So the crucial point here is that your normal adult routine actively fights against logging those necessary hours. Just think about a typical Tuesday. You're probably commuting alone. You're sitting at a work-from-home desk or in an office where too much small talk gets you side-eyed. You hit the gym, but everyone's got their noise-canceling headphones on. And your coworkers? Well, researchers call the workplace a closed system. You didn't choose to be with these people, and the environment is definitely not a relaxed setting where you can easily let your guard down. Adult life strips away all that unplanned contact and just replaces it with highly isolated environments. Now, let's look at section 3, the variable, specifically looking at the gender maintenance gap. While the math of friendship affects all of us, the research shows that men and women tend to handle this structural loss quite differently. Women generally fare a little better in maintaining close friendships in adulthood. Now, this isn't because they inherently feel less lonely. The data on loneliness itself is pretty mixed, but rather because women are far more likely to do what researchers call the maintenance work. They're actively building the bridge. They initiate the group chats, plan the coffee dates, reach out first. Men, particularly as they get older, tend to rely on waiting for the bridge. They lean really heavily on ready-made structural groups to do the heavy lifting for them, things like a recreational sports league, a fantasy football group, or a work crew. The danger is when that ready-made setting disappears, say someone changes jobs or the season ends, their pipeline for new friends vanishes with it. Same epidemic, totally different mechanisms for handling it. All right, moving to section 4, the new formula. Let's talk about building your connection pipeline. Knowing all of this, understanding the 200-hour rule, seeing how our daily routines isolate us, and realizing the absolute necessity of maintenance work, how do we intentionally balance the equation? How do we thrive now that adult life has stopped handing us this required proximity? Well, this is the ultimate question you have to ask yourself. How do you manufacture those first 50 hours? How can you hack your own schedule to recreate the exact same conditions, proximity, unplanned contact, and relaxed settings that you got for free in the 3rd grade? You simply can't rely on luck anymore. You have to become the architect of your own social environment. And here is your blueprint. First, you must pick one recurring weekly event, not a one-off networking mixer, but the exact same place with the exact same people every single week for months. A pottery class, a run club, a neighborhood association, whatever. You need that repetition to stack up those 50 hours. Second, say yes to the low-stakes, boring invites, the quick errands, the casual post-work drink. That creates the unplanned and relaxed feeling that sociologists say is mandatory. And finally, you have to take on the maintenance work. Be the one who texts first. Don't wait for someone else to build the bridge for you. There's this quote that just perfectly reframes the entire issue for me. Adult friendship isn't going to be handed to you. It's just a schedule you have to build instead of one the school built for you. When you view it through that lens, honestly, all the shame of being lonely totally disappears. It's not a permanent character flaw. Actually, scratch that. It's not a flaw at all. You're not unfunny or uninteresting. It is literally just a lost schedule. And the good news is, you now possess the exact blueprint and the mathematical formula to rebuild it with deliberate intention. Because this is a structural problem with a highly achievable fix, I want to leave you with one immediate, concrete action step. Who is one person you could text right now to start manufacturing your 50 hours? Seriously, pull out your phone, send a text to grab coffee, and start building your schedule today. But as you do, I want you to consider this. If we don't actively choose to rebuild these connection pipelines in our own communities, what happens to a society that continues to choose the convenience of isolation over the effort of community? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.